welcome to episode number 38 of the Think Like a Marketer Show. I'm Randall Chestnut, your host, and today's topic is how using Facebook can grow your business. But before I get into that topic, I want to say first thank you to our sponsor over at youneedashow.com. If you're considering having a show, or you currently have a show and you want to improve it, go over to youneedashow.com. You can download a free show starter kit that got information in there that help you get a sponsor within 7 days. Yes, 7 days. Again, go over to youneedashow.com if you're considering having a show, want to grow your business using the show, which is the topic for the day. And I have two amazing guests that I'm going to bring on here in just a moment. But I want to tell you first a little bit about these two ladies. They've been doing the show now for over a year now, which is first kudos to these ladies, because most people don't have the commitment and the drive it takes to create a show, let alone anything consistently for a whole year. And I'm telling you, it is not an easy thing to do, to produce a show, to manage talent that comes on the show. I mean, it's like herding cats. I'm sure that when we come on, they can tell us the pros and cons and all the things that have happened along the way for their show and give us some great tips. Now, if you're thinking about creating a show, you'll want to stick around and for this show. If you're watching a show live, please do me a favor and put 1 in the comments. If you're watching it on the replay, push 2. We really like to keep up with, what's the number of people that are watching live and not. And for sure, if you have any questions for my guest or for me, be sure to put them in the comment section. We'll make sure we answer them live on today's show. So the ladies that I'm bringing on have a show here in Houston called the Caffeinated Show. And I don't need to tell you that it involves some caffeine. They host the show throughout all over Houston. They do a great job at finding great guests to come on and entertain people, educate people, and really make it fun for the rest of the crowd. So I want to bring today to the show my friends and fellow live streamers, Kimberly and Yaneth. And hey, how are you ladies?
Hi there. Hi, how are you?
Look, now it's on, right? You are both in the camera shot. You know, we struggle because it's such a squeezed in space to get both of you in. But you're such great friends. You don't mind being so close.
Yeah.
So I want to give you a little bit of opportunity for the people who don't know about your show in Houston, and really for people outside of Houston. Today, I really want to, encourage people to ask questions, because there is a lot involved in, as you guys know, in creating these live shows.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of work.
So give us a little background. When you two got together, what in the heck made you decide to just take on this task of creating a show together?
Well, I'll say kind of our history, and then I'll let Yaneth take over kind of where the creation of the show started. But she and I had known each other for years through my sister-in-law, and we had always met up probably every 2 or 3 months to have coffee and talk shop,
Right.
Talk about real estate, talk about business, how could we help each other, what was going on. I mean, we always had these very focused coffee meetings, and we talked about the family and the kids for a bit, and then it was all work.
Right.
And it made sense that we had already known each other for quite a bit of time, and had the same passions with coffee and real estate. And then Hurricane Harvey is really what kind of brought this whole show to fruition.
Yes, well, that's exactly what happened. We decided after Hurricane Harvey that a lot of our clients, in one of our coffee meetings, a lot of our clients were asking us and calling us for information about what to do when their house is flooded, about, who should they contact with insurance agents.
Right.
Can I do a loan to rebuild my house? So we thought, why don't we go live and just answer some of those questions and help our clients and the people of Houston, kind of navigate this new world of post-Harvey.
Right.
So it really started out as just, not intended as a show, not intended to be, in our second year doing this. It was really just to help the community out, and it grew from there.
Right. And it did grow from there. And luckily the real estate community and our friends, we've had a big support system behind it, has really motivated us to keep going. So, because it can get hard. We do it weekly.
We do.
So unless for some reason one of us is out of town, the show we still do the show every week, but we don't do the show without each other. We've all put that commitment with each other that we'll always do the show together. Right. So
and you guys both have kids, right?
Yeah. Mine are big, so I have that blessing that my youngest is 16 and can always help babysit her youngest,
which my love, because they get to have a teenager in the house. Yeah. But I have little ones. I have a 10 and a 3-year-old. And so, aside from our full-time job and being working moms, and then now being content creators and having this Facebook Live show, it did not start out that route. It was just more, let's help our community. And then, and also we noticed that as soon as we started doing that, our reach, our, professional reach grew more, because we were able to bring on guests that would talk about real estate, and that helps us grow our business as well. So kind of all relates.
And just going with you, Randall, is that, I had always watched your Facebook Live shows over the last few years, and you and I were able to connect about our show, and you were a guest on our show. And so it was just all about connecting and creating those relationships, and how can we all help each other.
Right. Yeah. I have to take my hat off to you guys. Knowing how hard, people out there really don't understand how much work is involved. It's not, you turn on the camera and you just go. I mean, there's planning involved. There's like you have children. It's like because you make a commitment to do this, at a specific day and a specific time. So you have to follow through. I always tell people, look, if you decide to do this and you really want to do it, make sure that when you're committed and you're going to do it consistently, because if you do a couple of shows and you stop, you lose just a little bit of respect from people. I feel like people look at you and look at the way people do business, and it's the way that you do anything is the way you do everything. We'll see that. So you guys doing this for over a year is hats off to you, because I know how much work is involved in it, and you've done a great job. I mean, you've had former NFL players on your show. You've had some great so who would have thought that you had access to those types of people? I mean, you just wouldn't.
No, never did we ever think that, even with Kylie Wong being on the show. Thank you. Yeah, whatever credit's deserved for that connection, Randall. But even with Senator John Whitmire and House Representative Ana Hernandez, we never in our life thought that they would be on our show. What has been? So I want to backtrack a little bit, because I always like to just point out the obvious. And it's like, what are some of the so for people out there who considering creating a show, what are a couple of things that you would want to share with them to be prepared for? Not necessarily negative, but with everything there's a pro and there's a con. What would you think would be one of the things that you would point out, or a couple of things?
Well, we probably have a lot of them, but
I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, I think with anything you do, you have to be yourself, number one, regardless of what you're doing. So I think the reason our show has done well and why people like us is because this is who we are. This is not a facade. We don't, we are just moms that work every day very hard. We love real estate. We love coffee. We love connecting with people. So stay true to yourself. I think that's the number one advice that I would give, because that's going to help you overcome all the hurdles that come. And because it is, for us, it has been learning each step of the way. And if you're going to have a partner, I would say have someone that you love spending time with, and that you respect as a professional, and that you can get along with, because I think it's so important to you're in this together. So it's that commitment.
It's definitely, I think the benefit we had is we already knew each other and we already had an established friendship. And so we, and from that it's just grown, even more because we see each other so much now and we live really close together now. But a pro, I mean, I definitely think if you, like you said, if you're going to commit to doing it, whether it's once a month or every day or once a week, keep your schedule as close to that as you can, because people come to expect to see you on at a certain time. And you'll, and cons, I mean, people are going to say what they want to say, right? Like we've gotten great feedback all the time. The majority of the feedback is always great. And then sometimes they'll say, oh, well, why don't you do this that way? Or, and we appreciate that. And we listen to whatever their feedback may be. And if we can make those changes, we do. And it could just be equipment. That's the one thing going in is you don't know what you need. And then luckily with our support system, we've had people chime in and say, hey, you need to buy this and buy that and whatever. So even to lights,
Well, we definitely evolved. So this is for people that want to evolve and definitely. Really just, are not afraid to learn and to risk. Put yourself out there. It's not easy to come online and, speak your mind. But at the same time, you know what you know. And if you don't know it, you seek the professionals that do know it. And that's what we have done. Right.
And I think that we do this on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. Like coming off of a weekend, coming off a Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, I roll out of bed and I go, I don't even know how my hair is looking. Like, she could be on full curls and I could have like my afro going on that day. Right. It's just kind of like we're very genuine in that. Like, if we're made up, it's because we really put effort into it that day.
But, it's interesting you point that out, because I think, and the men and women are slightly different in certain things. And one of the things is like guys like me, and I can only speak for me, I'm a guy, getting on camera, we're not so focused on every element of our profile, our hair, our clothes, or anything. We just get on there because we love to hear ourselves talk. On the other hand, women have a different perspective on, is my hair right? Is my makeup? Because we don't wear makeup and those types of things. And and I say rightfully so, because men get a lot of leeway, and like it's just okay. Like, it's okay that he looks like that, because most men look like
guy, no big deal.
It's no big deal. I mean, it's unfortunate but true that women are held to a higher standard sometimes about certain things for whatever reason. I mean, they do for the most part. I mean, growing up, my dad did all the work and my mom raised us. Not that my dad didn't, but she spent most of the time taking us to school, the dentist, making sure that we ate and all of those types of things. And he just made sure that we had money. Right. So she did most of the raising.
Like most great dads should. Exactly. Make sure there's food on the table. That's true.
So, having your show, and like you said, having senators and former football players, blog writers, all these different people, sometimes so Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this, Gary V. For people out there who don't know who he is, where have you been? I mean, he's on every social media platform you could possibly be on. But if you don't, you can look him up. It's Gary V, and that's VEE. One of the things that he talks about is that he talks about back when he had the wine library, the show that he started back when he was in the wine business. Do you know this story?
I don't know this story.
This would be a good one, because it'll show that what you're doing is you will start reaping the benefits of the show in this coming year, because you've been doing like a little more than over a year. He said it's that first year people are looking at like, are they really in this?
Right. Are they going to stay around?
Yeah. After a year, they go, well, doing that a year, you really feel it. So now they start, they start paying attention a little more. And now you get the people who feel like you're threatening, especially because the industries that you're in, there's other people who want to do what you're doing.
Right.
And they're afraid that you're now going to start taking their business.
Right.
So now they have to figure out a way to lash out at you in whatever way they can.
Right. No, I agree. You know what's really important for us is like we love to inspire others and make those connections. And if they go off and do their own thing, that's great. We want to make sure that we're staying true to ourselves and why we started the show. And so we have those self checks with each other probably once a month where because going into year 2, we truly have people calling us now saying, hey, we want to be on your show. Instead of us calling around going, hey, you want to be on our show?
No. Sponsors wanted to sponsor us. Right. So you're right. That 2-year mark, you know, it's almost a year and a half for us. So people are definitely paying attention to what we're doing. And we can, when we go to events, we notice there's a lot of people that will come up to us that we might not know and say, oh, you're the people from the Caffeinated Show. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, but I'd like to hear the story you were saying about.
So he tells a story. When he was in high school, he worked at his dad's liquor store, and YouTube was new, and he heard about this YouTube thing. So he started making this YouTube, and he decided he was going to make a wine show that was for the average person, you know, because wine was mostly told in like has a hint of elderberries and oakies. Yeah. It's like stuff that was a little bit above the average just I drink wine person. Right. And he started talking about it in a way that the average person who didn't understand that, he'd be like, that, and he'd spit it in a spit to him and say, that tastes like a dirty sock. Like that kind of talk, right? Right. And he talks about he had that show and he'd have 2, 3 viewers. And then the next show he'd have 5, 6. And he actually has a time clock that one of his videographers made, and it showed, year, 2000, whatever. And then it showed over time how many viewers. And it was like, after year 1, it was like 40, 50, 60. And then year 2, it was like 150, 160, 300. And then it was like, then it just like skyrocketed like 10,000, 25,000, 100,000, 400,000. And then, now he's where he is now. He's everywhere.
Oh yeah. He's an awesome character to watch.
And he's very, he was charismatic even back then, but even he had to put in the work and and the thought of, I'm going to be consistent with this. And he did it consistently, and it worked so well that he carried it over into his new business. And now he has 3 different shows. Right. And
I think he's very true to like his personality and his character. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. Yeah.
Some people like it, some don't. That's fine. That's everything.
Yeah, that's the same with us. But another thing, like Kim was saying, going into year 2, one of my constant questions is like, if somebody wants to be on a show, I'm like, we need to vet properly. We need to make sure that this is aligning with what we want to do. We are staying true to what our, goal for the show is. And that's important because you're right. There might be other things happening that might distract you sometimes, and you think, oh, people are, saying you might need to do this different or that differently. But at the end of the day, she and I are the ones that decide how we want the show to continue and what the image and what our purpose and what we want for our shows. So that's been really great for us this year because we're really being more picky about making sure that everything aligns properly for us.
Yeah. Something I want you guys to share, and I know you're open and honest about this. When you started, were you nervous?
Oh God, yeah. We're still nervous. We're still kind of nervous. I just do my jazz hands, and I'm like,
what I do with my hands? Yeah, that's my favorite.
We say good morning like a million times before we actually.
And if we happen to do an afternoon show to accommodate a guest, we'll totally forget that and say good morning again 100 times.
Well, let me say you do a good job because you don't look nervous. Like, you can tell when somebody's really nervous on camera. You look totally comfortable. And that probably is that, just like anything, after you've done something long enough, you start getting used to it.
Yeah.
And I bet one of the byproducts that you have that you may have not been nervous before, maybe you have, but if somebody let's say 3 years ago, said, we want you to come on to our radio show, for example, you would have had a lot of anxiety the night before about being on that show. If someone asked you to be on a radio show right now, you're like, okay, you don't even think twice about it. Even, you know, most of the time they don't have a camera. So it's like, all I had to do is talk to this microphone.
Right.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Well, we had a little bit of fun doing that.
Yeah. And luckily we've been invited on some radio shows. So
but you're right. We don't have that nervous feel anymore. And I think it's just practice, you know?
Yes, it is. You do it over and over and over, and you feel more confident. You feel more comfortable. People will connect with you more because you are more confident. And then when you get more confident and people say, hey, I want you to come on my show, like now or like before, and now more people get to know you, and eventually you get so good and so confident. Now people from this circle just starts getting larger and larger and larger. And before you know it, you're dominating. And now everybody else is looking at you going, wow, I want to do that. And they got to start from zero where you were 3-4 years ago. And now they are going to be coming to you for mentorship. And now you have the ability to charge them if you like.
Right. That's true. That is the plan.
And honestly, so if someone commits to it and they're serious about doing it, I mean, you're a testament to it, and they do it consistently, a whole new world of things you never thought. Like when you start doing something, most of the time when I consult with people who say they want to have a show, is like, I just want to grow my business, that whatever the business is, from legal to they sell widgets. And I say, okay, yeah, it will do that. But more importantly, it will open up other opportunities. Like I said, 3 years from now, when you're on, Deborah Duncan has you come on the show and talk about your show, right? I mean, these things happen.
Yeah,
look at Dr. Phil.
Yeah, absolutely.
A goal.
I mean, look at Dr. Phil. I mean, he was just a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And now he's one of the wealthiest psychologists in the world. I mean, and just because Oprah Winfrey had him on, Ray's and Dr. Oz, those people, all because of that.
I know. We need to call Oprah.
Yeah, you did. It was.
Well, when I started, actually, a lot of people in the industry, in the real estate industry, and even outside of the industry, they're like, you guys are like a mini Houston Oprah show, because they really felt that we had more of just, everyday topics, but topics for people that would enrich their life, either financially or just, in general. So we thought it was funny. We were like, yeah, we wish, but now it's, we really see the value of what we're doing, and we enjoy it more than anything.
And we liven it up, 52 weeks or let's say 48 weeks out of the year talking about real estate can kind of get redundant. So when we do have people that are not real estate that want to come on the show or not in the industry, we always have to figure out, well, how is that related to the industry? How can this benefit our realtors that are watching and stuff like that? So, and then we can have fun,
Well, I mean, that's smart. I mean, you look at Oprah Winfrey. When she started out, she was like a Jerry Springer type show.
Oh, yeah.
And then look, she found the audience that she wants. She found her true voice. She found it on, and then she molded it. And she knew she was talking to women, and she wanted to talk about those inspirational, spiritual, like growing women. And that was a majority of her audience. Not that men couldn't benefit, but that was the majority. And she became and that's when she took off. And she found that. And
I think
you see that with a lot of other shows.
That's true.
Right. And I think what works well with Yaneth and I is that we both love to talk. And so this is a way, and we were just talking about this yesterday, this is an outlet for us.
That's true.
It satisfies that yearning or to educate. I always thought growing up I was going to be a school teacher and then didn't go that path, but I feel like I am a teacher in a sense because I'm still educating my realtors and my agents and stuff like that, and our clients about what we do. But we were just talking yesterday how this show is satisfying a personal need in our lives of being able to connect with others and educate and talk.
Right. Well, and I think it has to also do with, something that is common that we share, is that we truly have a servant heart. We really love serving our community. This is, we don't put it out there for our for people to know what, oh, today I did this for the community or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
But through this show, we are able to fulfill that servanthood and really reach more than what we would reach on, if we didn't have the show.
Right.
So it really does fulfill in many areas of our life. So that's why it's worked maybe so well for us.
Well, I've because I work with people who have shows too, just so happens, and I help a manufacturer. They manufacture equipment, and they started a show. They started, I think now 3 months ago, and they actually sold equipment from the show, someone that they got directly from the show. And we're not talking a couple $100 here. We're talking literally tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment that came directly from the show.
Right.
And they didn't talk at all about their equipment on the show.
We've seen that with a guest that we had on the show. A client or a customer was watching or that needed his services,
right,
and they connected and they were able to render services, and it was in the thousands of dollars. So it was just
continues to grow that.
And so connection. So
again, it is. It's really about if you can. Anytime you create something that the community finds valuable, you'll always be looked at as a resource to go to.
Right.
And then when you could couple that and it helps you grow your business, because when you used to have to support a family, it's not a nonprofit.
Right. It's a nonprofit.
And I don't think anybody has a problem with that. What's that?
I said we started,
we started as a nonprofit.
We really didn't go into this like trying to make money or anything like that. It was just really about education and having that heart for others and making the connections and being able to express ourselves as well this way as another outlet and grow.
Well, good. So if people who are on wanted to find you, where would you send them for your show?
Well, we all things the Caffeinated Show. So Instagram, we do live streaming there of our show on Monday mornings at 10 o'clock. We go live on Facebook every Monday morning, obviously at 10. You can follow us, start following us on LinkedIn. We are also on YouTube and we are on Twitter too, but we are slowly uploading some of our past episodes. So this is a labor of love.
Yeah.
And we work
together. You're chasing a toddler around.
And, so we are working on uploading more to the other social media areas and platforms, but follow us definitely on our Facebook Live where we usually go live on Mondays.
Awesome. And you have your show, you have any other events going on, anything that people could come to?
Oh God.
We are putting together a panel.
Yes.
And it'll be a great show that's coming up. Do we want to say what it is or we want to save it?
We'll save that.
Okay. It'll be a very interesting panel. If you love real estate and you want to be empowered and you really want to change your life and see things differently, you need to watch out for this.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it'll be in March. And one thing that we like to do too last year that we did is put together a little real estate fashion show. And that was just because we'll do that once a year. We'll pick a charity that a portion of the proceeds from the fashion show can go towards that charity. And again, it's just a charity that was close to my heart, which was the Pelchin Children's Center. And then this year it'll be whatever charity she wants.
Yeah.
So again,
it turns.
Yeah, again, it's just whatever we, feel our heart to calling that we do. And, that was something that we did last year as well.
Right.
Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate you both taking the time to come on the show to even, I always say that the most valuable thing that you can give someone is your time, because you can buy other people's time, but you can't get any more of your time back. So thank you for sharing that with us and, sharing some of the frustrations and some of the good, the bad and the ugly, with people. You want to be realistic with them, and it's a commitment. It really is. I think it's like a marriage, right? There's good and bad in a marriage, but you got to stick with it.
Right. That's true. There's definitely been like technical difficulties some days, and you're like, oh my God, why is this not working out? Or the internet drops, or whatever, can happen. And so you could be in the middle of streaming and lose everything. And you're like,
or silent. but it's perseverance. And for me, I think it's always persistent is like my middle name. I don't give up. And I think Kim's the same way. So this is a perfect avenue for us to just continue learning and getting it to the next step.
Right. Well, so your show is Monday at what time?
10 a.m.
Monday at 10 a.m. So again, thank you guys for coming on, and make sure that you catch them. Go and follow them on their Facebook page, The Caffeinated Show. Catch them every Monday at 10 a.m. They always have interesting topics, great guests, and just support people who are doing good things.
Yes.
And do that for me. For those of you who are not currently following me here at the Think Like a Marketer Facebook page, go ahead and do that. If you haven't already, hey, share this stuff, share the love, please. And if you are if you're considering having a show, want to have a show, you have a show and you don't really know how to grow it, you again go to youneedashow.com. You can download a show starter kit. Has some helpful emails for how you can get sponsors for your show. I think we have 3 show formats that walk you through exactly what you could do for your show. Again, go to youneedashow.com. And again, thank you, Kim and Yaneth, for coming on tonight. And I enjoyed our conversation, and we'll catch your show on Monday.